This is the Sunday stream opening song because the other song is copyrighted. La 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 la. Oh look, here comes Dog Cat Fox.
Hi, Sky.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Sunday stream. The stream I do on Sundays because Sunday is the day to stream on Sundays. Hope you're all doing well on this beautiful Sunday morning. And if you happen to be coming in later on after going over to Ranting Monkey's show, because Ranting Monkey is streaming right now, or about to, I do my best to stay out of the way of my friends' established timelines for their shows and things, but it's okay, Ranting Monkey. It's fine. It's okay. Do what you got to do. I mean, news about SS Sniper Wolf is very, very important. It's very, very important. Of course, I'm not saying that, my news is any better. It's just, one more attempt to try to stave off depression and melancholy over what's going on in the rest of the world, because this is all just basically a distraction at this point. But hey, whatever. No, it's fine. I'm not sore. Anyway, how are you all doing? And who all are you? Let's go through some names, because names are very important, as we learned in this week's TEDx. Funk Joel Brother, right about now. Funk Joel Brother. Check it out now. Shady Grin, good morning. Noah Asensio, good morning. Kiro Soldier, good morning. Advocatus Diaboli, good morning. Derek LaRue, good morning. And thank you, Derek LaRue, so much, as always, for your continued support and generosity. Really do appreciate it. Hope you're having a good Sunday so far. Samnamyon Nation, good morning. Misinformation, good morning. Ryan R, good morning. Mike Savage, Blarg. Twisted Skipster, the newlywed, good morning. Robert Pincus, good morning. Shadowclaw, good morning. Neo Masaki, good morning. One Ton Hammer, good morning. Anybody else? TC LaChance. Now, I see, okay, speaking of names, just because I'm curious, is it LaChance or is it LaChance? Nevada. Which one is it? I mean, I put a little bit of a flair on it just for fun. But I mean, if that upsets you, if that shames you, embarrasses you, causes you psychic trauma, let me know. I mean, and I'm being halfway sincere there. I mean, if you don't like me saying LaChance, I can say LaChance. I just want to make sure. And no name makes everything easier because there's no name to worry about. There you go. So just a random thing happened yesterday. I came across this, well, not a video so much, I guess it's technically a podcast, but it was about Amazon and affinity groups. And I was thinking to myself, it's been a while since I've done anything on affinity groups. Did I do something on Amazon affinity groups at one point? And turns out I did, over 2 years ago. It doesn't seem that long. Holy cow, the lockdown, the pandemic makes everything just kind of dilate. And anyway, so before I had remembered I had done something on Amazon affinity groups in the past, I thought of a thumbnail. I thought, wouldn't it be clever if I took the Amazon logo and just changed Amazon to affinity? That'd be clever, wouldn't it, Scribe? And then I thought, wait, didn't I did that already, didn't I? Oh, I just saved myself 20 minutes. So I just took the previous thumbnail and put a 2.0 on it, and there you go. That is a behind the scenes look to you as to how much thought I put into the production of this series. Just so you know. Let's see. It's the French pronunciation that you're using. I got to give you credit. You pronounce it pretty well. You're not forcing your Anglophone ways on me. Yeah. La chance. Okay, well, I'll continue using the fancy one because I think French is fancy, right? Pardon me, I need to wet my proverbial whistle here so I can continue this show with the aplomb and enunciation that I'm known for. There you go. All right. Well, with all that as preamble, there's not a whole lot to this. This is a podcast building internal communities with affinity groups. Now, what are affinity groups? For those of you that are not yet indoctrinated, well, affinity groups in the corporate sense are the idea that you should have little clubs inside your company that are based around usually a very broad demographic. Oftentimes it's either race, ethnicity, gender, orientation, and then way down at the end of the list, usually you have your veterans. Everything else preceding veterans is usually some, accident of faith, accident of fate, not faith. Although they do have, some places do have religious affinity groups in their own company, which just opens up a whole lot of. Anyway, in a country where the laws basically say thou shalt not discriminate in employment opportunities in business and so on the basis of race, ethnicity, religion, and so on, it always seems to me that affinity groups really, really walk the line of putting that liability higher and higher day by day, because you're effectively creating not only a kind of segregation within your own company, but also establishing tribes based around quote unquote identity, because affinity groups also have another name. It's also employee resource groups, which is a much more kinder, gentler version of it. I don't know if they'll call them that in this, but yeah, affinity groups. Because if you happen to be of a particular color, if you happen to like sleeping with a particular, gender, this means that therefore you have some fundamental thing in common and should be encouraged to divide off under that demographic. I don't know. But yeah, I looked at this about 2 years ago. This was published just the other day, so this is brand new. We'll find out how it's going at, I think it's Amazon Web Services, this one. Anyway, it's a podcast. There's nothing to watch for those of you that are driving or listening or whatever, you're not going to miss anything visually. I did do a little editing on it. I took out a musical cue right at the top and if you'd like to know more something at the end that had nothing to do with anything. So it's a little clipped, but otherwise, I think that's all the preamble I'm going to give it, and anybody else who's showing up late. Did I see anybody else? Did I say some Namnil Nation? Good morning, some Namnil Nation. All right. Anyway, let's start. See what we get.
It's been really rewarding, great learning experience for me personally and also professionally. And I think connecting with other queer people in professional setting, that's something I actually haven't had before.
Okay. Sorry to stop so suddenly there. What has that got to do with anything? Connecting with other queer people, especially professionally? What does being queer have to do with your profession? This comes back to something else I always complain about, the degrading of professional distance, this authenticity cult, this bring your whole self to work deal, eliminating the line between your personal life and your working life. What does any of that have to do with anything with your profession? I'd love to know.
In professional setting, that's something I actually haven't had before AWS.
So before Amazon Web Services, you didn't have the opportunity to interrogate people or have people define themselves on the basis of their love lives to you in a professional setting. Oh no!
Hi, I'm Constance.
Constance? Oh, Constance! May I introduce you to La Chance? Constance? La Chance? Constance? Sorry, I can't help myself. That was too good.
Amazon Web Services has 13 affinity groups.
13? That's a lucky number.
Also known as employee resource groups.
Oh, employee resource groups. Okay, so they're one and the same. Okay. Yeah, they are. I mean, they're just two different names for the same thing.
These are communities that bring people together across businesses and borders.
Communities or cubbyholes?
They exist to help grow a more connected, more compassionate AWS.
No, they help to segregate and divide people on the basis of non-determinative factors of their makeup. For some reason.
Some examples include the Black Employee Network.
The Black Employee Network. Okay.
Then, Amazon Women in Engineering.
Amazon Women in Engineering. Amazon Women in Engineering. Owie? So wait, Black Employees Network is Ben. Okay. And then Amazon women in AWE.
AWE.
No, not AWE. AWE. No, sorry. Amazon women in engineering. You don't get to skip the I. Okay, you might try to call it AWE. AWE. No, it's AWE. It's AWE. That's fun. I think that's funnier. Thank you, Alan Thyler. Thank you so much. Hello, Scribe. Hope you are well. I am doing well. Thank you, Alan. Hope you are well as well. Well. Welly, well, you. Thank you, Alan, so much. Very generous of you. Hope you're having a good Sunday so far. I got to remember to, there's this option now to heart super chats. I try to do that. There you go. I think that, I don't know what that does. Does that give you like YouTube karma or something? Well, if not YouTube karma, you have Scribe karma. Skrarma. Never mind.
And indigenous at Amazon.
Indigenous at Amazon. Hey. Where you're not going to say the IAA at the end of that? So, Black Employee Network, Ben, Amazon Women in Engineering, AWE, Indigenous at Amazon. You don't spell it out for us? Okay.
Today, I'm getting to the heart of why affinity groups offer such a positive support system for employees and colleagues.
Okay.
What do they do?
Yes.
Why do we need them?
Yes.
And how are they making this company better?
Oh, excellent. Okay. Well, let's see. Those are the 3 points that we are promised to have answered here. What do they do? Why are they important? How do they make the company better? Okay. You think we'll get answers to those? Because I have been fooled before.
Welcome to Here at AWS.
Okay. I am here at AWS. Oh, Miranda Stone, good morning. Blakester, good morning. Captain Frost, good morning. You're Ridiculous Lunatic, good morning. I appreciate you making the correct choice in your morning entertainment and staying away from that usurper ranting monkey.
I've always been interested in technology. I had my first personal computer when I was 9.
Great. What does your orientation have to do with that?
And I was hooked.
This is Nick.
So my role at AWS is I'm Senior Solutions Architect, and
Okay.
I work with software and digital native businesses. So those are software as a service or SaaS companies that you know and love. Previous role, I was a large software company in healthcare sector.
Okay, so software, coding, software. Okay. And who you prefer to sleep with has what to do with this. I know, I'm going to be a broken record through this. This was the preamble to this. I really need to know how this makes any sense whatsoever.
And delivering everything from regional, state, or national level health systems in North America, across APJ and EMEA, improving health outcomes for people. And it was extremely rewarding, but then I started moving into more of a leadership role. And I really wanted to kind of go back to technology and focus on it.
Go back to, okay, so he was transitioning into doing more administrative stuff, but he wanted to get back in the trenches. Okay.
Enabling other types of businesses. And that's when I joined AWS. So that was about 3.5 years ago.
Okay.
And, loving it ever since.
So that's Nick's job at AWS.
Great. Roll credits. Right? Oh, no, but that can't be the end of the story. It can't just be this guy is a career professional in technology, software development, everything else. No, there has to be something more. It can't just be the job you do.
He's an incredibly talented, switched-on solutions architect.
And why does he need to be more than that in this context?
But Nick is also involved in the New Zealand chapter of one of our oldest affinity groups.
So Clamazon is one of 13 official Amazon affinity groups.
What was, sorry, I missed it. The accent is kind of, what's the name of the group?
So Clamazon.
Climazon? I don't know. I must have missed it.
Is one of 13 official Amazon Affinity groups, and Amazon focus on LGBTQI plus community,
Why?
but it is open to anyone.
Then why call it? If it's open to anyone, then why not just make it a generic professional networking group? Why slot it into a demographic of sexual orientation or gender identity? Mashing those things together. Why?
At Amazon. So how it got started was internal email list at Amazon.
Email list. I remember those. Boy, you remember BBS's? Yeah, BBS email list. Yeah.
It was internal email list at Amazon to really promote happy hours back in '99.
Happy hours. Okay.
And it's run by volunteers and championing LGBTQI plus initiatives. And
why? Why not just make a generic professional networking group?
Now there are over 80 global chapters, and ANZ chapter is one of them. So I got involved with Glamazon actually in first weeks of joining AWS from a recommendation from one of the leaders at the time that I should look into this.
Why? Why did he think that you should look into this specifically? I mean, if it's a group that's specializing in LGBT and so on, had you told this person about your personal life? Did they query you about your personal life? Maybe you belong with your own kind. I don't know.
And I joined as New Zealand champion. And in 2021, I started as a chapter co-lead, so leading the chapter with another colleague.
A chapter. This seems so creepy and unnecessary, but supposedly we're going to learn why they're necessary.
In Australia.
That's so amazing to hear.
Is it? That's the conversation. That's amazing to hear. And then wind chimes.
On top of his role as solutions architect, Nick is an incredibly devoted volunteer. With Amazon, he works tirelessly to voice the needs and values of the LGBTQIA community.
The needs and values of the LGBTQIA community. Okay. What values set those demographics apart from anybody else? I'd be curious to know.
So, what amazing work has Nick been doing?
Earlier this year, in February and March, we celebrated Sydney World Pride. And it attracted more than 1 million just for the parade day alone.
I think more people than just your little club did that. I don't think it was just your Amazon Affinity group that did that.
Amazon has run over 50 events, 20 plus countries participated, everything from Amazon Music Proud playlist.
Amazon Music Proud playlist. Okay, and again, you're dividing people up on the basis of who they like to sleep with. Why? And I understand, don't get me wrong, the T in LGBT doesn't necessarily say anything about your sexual orientation, right? But that it's now you can't divide it out, right? But anyway.
Alexa phrases, Pride stores on the retail store, Pride video series featuring our Amazonians and committee members talking about what Pride means to them.
I don't care about your love life. I don't care. It is irrelevant to me. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to date you because I'm heterosexual. Outside of that, I don't care. Why are we supposed to get to a point where it's like irrelevant? Isn't that the whole idea behind this? Is just to normalize it all in the sense that it's none of my business, just like most people's love lives aren't my business. Oh, but you got a Pride store, Pride this, Pride this, Pride this. You have to self-identify. It's like, who cares? And don't get me wrong, this isn't me saying you can't. This isn't me trying to gatekeep. I'm just wondering, like, what is the purpose of all of this? Why keep delineating people along lines of things that have nothing to do with anything? Tell us about your work. Tell us about something substantive, Irate Bear. You'll notice I also didn't bring that joke up during the 7th anniversary show. I didn't want to put Bear through any more stress than he was already under by bringing up words he can't pronounce. Anyway, okay, I'm still waiting for the answer. Why does this matter?
It still makes me emotional. I think pride is very personal, but we have this collective emotional response and experience.
That's creepy. A collective emotional response and experience of having sex with people in your own gender. I mean, I guess if that's as if that's as nuanced as you want to get.
And I think a lot of stories.
Sure.
It sounds really positive being involved so heavily in an affinity group like Glamazon New Zealand.
Does it?
It means Nick gets to highlight the voice of his community in a vital way.
Okay. So the voice of any one particular person who happens to sleep with, in general terms, LGBTQI, it's all over the place. But in general terms, it's about you are not heterosexual, right? That's the long and short. And I know transgender, anyway, makes it so complicated. So what does any of that have to say about how anybody chooses to think or their opinions? Their voice. You don't speak for anyone other than yourself. Unless the group you are in, not the demographics that you supposedly represent, but the group you are in elected you to be their voice, then you speak for those individuals in the group, not the community. But okay, self-aggrandize some more.
But is it possible that Glamazon New Zealand helped him grow in a professional sense as well?
Oh, Glamazon. Right, gay, lesbian. Yeah, because back in the 90s when it all started, there was really only 2 options, and then they started adding all the alphabet letters. Glamazon. Oh, okay. All right. Sorry, let me back up a little bit. With understanding, I need to reverse time slightly.
In a vital way. But is it possible that Glamazon New Zealand helped him grow in a professional sense as well?
I don't know. I mean, if you are a wallflower, right, and you can't relate to anybody, and your only sense of yourself is your sexuality, which would be kind of sad, but let's say that was the case. And then somebody said, hey, there's a group over there where you don't have to ask the question. There's no mystery. Just go over there and you'll be amongst your own kind or something. I suppose then you could develop social skills you might not otherwise have developed, feeling like you live in a bubble the whole time. I guess, and then you could carry those over into your professional life. I suppose that could be true. But is that really worth the price of just tagging yourself under a category and then creating little segregated groups inside of your company? I don't know.
Has it had an impact on his day-to-day job?
It's been really a rewarding, great learning experience for me personally and also professionally. And I think connecting with other queer people in professional setting, that's something I actually haven't had before AWS.
What's the difference? I guess I need to know what's the contrast between having a professional interaction with someone who is not queer and having a professional interaction with someone who is queer. And if it's a professional interaction, at what point does your love life come up? I mean, we're not talking about different species of human beings here. Okay, so I guess I need some more information. Right? What was so difficult or so different, I should say, about just interacting with people on a professional level where you had no idea what their personal lives were like, and in a situation where you do?
Because Glamazon is Amazon-wide, so it's opportunity for me to connect with people who are outside AWS.
Then why not have a generic professional networking system? Why divide it up on the basis of these demographics? What is the point?
And who are not in technology roles.
Uh-huh.
It's been great for growing my professional network and also connecting with senior leaders, our executive sponsors, and really learning from them how to ask better questions. That's
what, and nothing you've mentioned so far has anything to do with their love lives or yours. Nothing. What? Okay, I'm waiting for the why these exist the way that they exist.
always super important skill to have. And really thinking about processes and how we can make things easier for everyone so we can scale better. We're lucky in Australia, in New Zealand, that we have a lot of legal rights for LGBTQI people.
Well. No, these are two different worlds we're talking about here. Everything you mentioned that you gained out of Glamazon is the exact same kinds of things that could have just as been easily gained through a basic, generic, professional networking group, mailing list, whatever, for Amazon company-wide. What did anything you just listed have to do with your personal life, with your orientation? What?
People, so that's around anti-discrimination, workplace harassment, marriage equality, adoption rights. But I think,
what does any of that have to do with Amazon's internal working and professionalism? What?
Me look at research and a lot of self-ID results. Nearly half of LGBTQI employees are not out at work.
Well, that's their choice, right?
And that's statistics kind of across all industries and all organization sizes.
So what? Should they be required to announce and or demonstrate their orientation in the workplace? Or do you just assume that someone who's not talking about their personal life is ashamed, oppressed, somehow being victimized?
And there's, many different reasons why people may not be out at work.
Yeah, but it sure sounds like you're assuming the worst.
Even if they are outside work. It takes mental toll. It impacts your productivity.
No, it doesn't necessarily. Okay, well, this is what I was talking about. The ability to separate personal life from professional life, and this practical, like, cult religion that you must integrate the two. If you're not integrating the two, something's wrong with you, right? Something that either needs to be, pulled out, or you're damaged in some way or something. Okay, your personal experience in dealing with your own sexuality is your problem. That doesn't mean it's everybody else's problem too. Maybe someone just wants to come to work and do their job. Maybe they're not there to network with people on the basis of who they like to have sex with. I don't know. Maybe that's just the case. Maybe they don't see any kind of value or difference in working professionally with someone who is straight versus someone who is gay, because there is no difference on the basis of those elements. It's about the person. But okay, you're going to assume that they're not being so. Are you going to force people to admit to their sexual desires at the workplace? What do you want here?
It impacts entire organization.
It impacts. So if I come to work and my sexuality is a complete unknown, I don't talk about it, I don't mention it, it's none of your business, I'm damaging the organization. Like you would have no idea if I walked in the room, right? And I didn't wear a rainbow anything on me. I wasn't, no idea what I liked in my personal life. Would that bother you? Would you need to know that information about me to work with me? Or how would you work with me without that information? Would you relegate me to a different kind of consideration if you didn't know my personal life? What? I'm still waiting for the purpose and the use of affinity groups. So far, it sounds like if we don't have an orientation inquisition in the company will suffer.
Work. It takes mental toll. It impacts your productivity. It impacts entire organization. What I will say is that this really can be leveraged to be your superpower.
What? That you prefer kissing boys or kissing girls? Really? Okay, how so?
Because a lot of us, and I have been there in the past, you are constantly scanning the room and space to understand really the question of safety.
The question of safety. Oh, so you're paranoid. You need to know where people stand. You need to know the most intimate aspects of their personal lives in order to assess your safety. Really? Okay, so if you were in a room full of straight people, let's just say somehow you knew this, right? You just walked into a room and you just knew that everybody else there was straight and you were the only queer person in the room. You would feel unsafe because of their personal lives. Is that it?
So this skill actually develops a lot of empathy.
This skill, wait, what, gaydar? What skill? What skill are you talking about? Reading the room? What does this have to do with affinity groups and professional development again?
And empathy does make you a better leader.
Empathy makes you a better leader. Empathy usually makes you a functioning human being in most cases, unless you're a sociopath or a psychopath or something. But yes, okay, empathy does make you a better leader. What does empathy have to do with your sexual orientation? What? Some people have a different kind of empathy depending on who they like to sleep with?
And, people are so used to doing this all the time, they don't even realize the superpower they have.
What superpower? What? Wait. The implication before was, okay, I'm at work and I'm not out, right? Okay, you have somebody at work who is not heterosexual and they're not broadcasting it to the rest of their coworkers. But, you said, this can be leveraged into a superpower. What can be leveraged into a superpower? My unwillingness or lack of desire to talk about my personal life at work? Oh, but now we're talking about reading the room because you don't feel safe? Am I missing? I'm half tempted to go back and start from the beginning because, again, my pauses are necessary, but they do chop up the through line on some of this stuff. But I don't know if it's worth the time.
That's going to make them a better leader.
Really? That's going to make them... What? Okay, so professional skill development and empathy. Those are the things that you've gained so far, I guess, from... What does this have to do with who someone likes to sleep with?
Helping to build and shape Glamazon New Zealand, Nick strives for a more safe, supportive community.
Uh-huh.
And that's the key to things here at AWS.
Okay.
People feeling safe and supported at work.
Feeling safe and supported at work. Okay, well, excuse me. If you have a security system, you have a functioning sprinkler system and fire extinguishers. If I have the equipment and the resources I need to do my job, okay, at what point in any of those considerations does who I sleep with come up?
Because when you feel safe and supported, wonderful things can happen.
What, that I find a date? What else? What else beyond doing my job, getting paid to do my job effectively? Okay, I don't know. I must be really old-fashioned. I think I've said this any dozen number of times before. I just want to go to work, do my job, and go home. Have a line between the two. And that line is I get up in the morning and I go to work. And when I'm at work, I'm doing my job. And once I'm off work, I'm done. I hate having to take work home with me. I hate having to think about it too much after I'm off the clock, so to speak. And that is more difficult and or weirder now with remote working, but all the same, just mentally, it's like when the day is done, when my job is done, when my obligations are completed, I'm done. And I'm not going to worry about anything else until tomorrow unless there's absolutely no way to avoid it. As much as possible, I try to avoid that. Thank you, Mr. Tickletrunk, for the happy, smiley, dancy dog cat fox. Oh, dog cat fox.
Wow-wee! Wow! Wow!
Oh, that's a drunken uncle dog cat fox. Thank you, Mr. Tickletrunk, so much. Hope you're having a good Sunday. All right, let's keep going with it. We're halfway through.
So I announced this on my first days at AWS. So it was monthly all hands, first one that I attended at AWS. So there was, intro and usual Amazon question on your favorite movies.
Great. When do we get to the part where affinity groups, what they do, why they're important, and how they improve the company? Still waiting for those 3 questions to be answered.
But I've also announced that my husband and I are on a parenthood journey via surrogacy, and that's when I actually received a lot of support.
You announced that you and your husband were on the way to trying to have made for you a child, and people supported you. Good, I guess. So you're announcing the oncoming birth of a child that will become yours to take care of, and people were happy for you. You need affinity groups. Why?
And a lot of people sharing fertility journey.
Fertility journey. Wait. People were cheering fertility journey. Like you said, my husband and I are in the process of surrogacy, and somebody in the back end, fertility journey. Really?
A lot of support and a lot of people sharing fertility journey and wishing us luck and their support and, genuine care.
All right. So your feelings, your self-esteem, your ego were boosted. Great.
And welcome was really, really, really appreciated.
And you need an affinity group. Why? What does that have to do with anything?
Interestingly, in Glamazon ANZ chapter, one of our ex-committee member still working at AWS, they've recently had a baby through surrogacy. And it's been, really great to connect with people who are going through similar experiences.
Great. New parents. If you had an employee resource group for, new parents, an element of life that says nothing about anything other than an experience, a shared difficulty, or you need support group, something like that, right? Or if there was a single parents ERG, like a veterans ERG, you find yourself either as a result of your own actions and merit or the circumstances you find yourself in, needing some help or potential networking help to get through a period of your life or an experience in your life that was, just part of life. Or part of your choices or part of your service. Okay. That is, at least in some element, a reflection of your personal merit, your personal experience, and so on. What does who you like to sleep with have to do with any of that? What? You couldn't get advice from a heterosexual on how to raise a child? You have to stay within your own tribe to get that information? What?
And fertility journeys are different for so many people.
Fertility journeys? No. The fertility journey is pretty much the same across the board. Okay? I learned this in elementary school. It's pretty much biologically determined at this point how the fertility journey works. The parenting journey is different for everybody. Okay. The parenting journey is different. There might be some similarities. There are some basics, but outside of that, yeah, that can be different for the fertility journey. Yeah. Okay.
And I'm so glad to see earlier this week, Amazon has announced that access to virtual support for IVF, adoption, and other family building benefits across 50 countries to all employees, including hourly employees. So it's really amazing.
Great. And so there was no barrier or exception made in any of those initiatives for who you like to sleep with in your personal life. All employees, because not just LGBTQIA whatever employees can participate or may opt to go for IVF or adoption, right? Because it's a human experience. Got nothing to do with your orientation. Okay. Still waiting to hear why the affinity group is necessary.
And with the benefits that I had available on parental leave, birth and adoption leaves, meant that I could plan for my coverage plans during my absence.
These things that are open to all employees, regardless of their orientation. Still waiting to hear how affinity groups are necessary.
For my customers. And I could
Wait, your customers? Hold on. Sorry, I keep cutting them off.
Plan for my coverage plans during my absence for my customers. And I could be 100% there for my family through birth, surgeries, recovery, and first months at home.
Surgeries, recovery. Whose recovery? You were doing, I mean, I don't know who your surrogate was. Maybe it's a family member or something. I don't know. Okay.
As I get to adjust to new rhythm. And I've always been a data person. So, I collect a lot of data about our baby, everything from feeding, nappy changes, health symptoms, medication.
Yeah, like a whole raft of relatively responsible parents that have come before you. Okay, so what? What does this have to do with a sexual orientation affinity group at Amazon?
Really, in order to make data-driven decisions every day. And, this allows all caregivers to be on the same page and, really a reminder on how important access to data is to all of us every day.
What? I know I'm a broken record. I'm still waiting. We're 9 minutes and 24 seconds into a 15-minute presentation, and I'm still waiting for this grand revelation. What is the point of a Black employees network at Amazon? What is the point of Amazon Women in Engineering? Like why? Why not have professional development groups of different types? Like maybe there's a professional leadership development group, right? Or a engineering development group. Something like that. You start splitting it up amongst specialties, actual applicable elements to the business. And they're open to everybody because you're an employee. And if you want to start, putting your toes into the water of engineering, even if you're just on a management level, well, why not? Maybe you learn a little bit, cross-train some, great, improve the company, and so on. How does having networks based around demographics do anything for anybody? Everything mentioned so far is so generic and can apply to any human being in a professional or professional plus life complication situation. So where is the need? Where is the sales pitch for this particular setup? Still waiting.
Taking a step back, I wonder, what changes has Nick seen for the LGBTQIA community in AWS?
No. What do affinity groups do? Why are they important? And how do they improve the company? Those are the three things that you were going to tell us. Still waiting.
19 years ago, even 10 years ago, there were very few leaders in technology who were out.
So what? They're not required to be. It's none of your business. If they're choosing not to say something for whatever reason, that's their business, not yours.
But, that goes for a lot of different industries. But having those leaders who are in public eyes being themselves is really great to see.
You don't care about themselves. You care about who they sleep with. We're not talking about individual characteristics here outside of what their love lives are like. Right? You've already differentiated between working with a professional and then working with a queer professional, as though that makes any real difference, except for your sense of safety or your sense of comfort, I guess. I don't know.
And other thing is commitments and really actions by tech organizations. And that includes Amazon, not only celebrating Pride events, having floats and other sponsorships, but really creating that inclusive and equitable workplace for LGBTQI plus employees.
Inclusive and equitable. Okay, well, where's Heterosexual Day? Where's the heterosexual parade? Where's the heterosexual float? I mean, is Amazon inclusive, or is it elevating people up on the basis of things that have nothing to do with anything that they actually do? There's a because this is a family show, I won't repeat it verbatim, but there's a great little bit from Norm Macdonald, the late great Norm Macdonald, where he's talking about some guy who's going out to celebrate his son because he's out and he's proud and he's at a pride parade. And Norm Macdonald kind of whittles it all down to the bare bones of the situation. And it's hilarious and it's absolutely true. And I cannot help but escape that fact when I think about just how relevant any of this is to anything at any point in time, especially professionalism. Like, what does this say about you? Nothing. It doesn't terminate. And isn't that the point? Like, okay, you are not heterosexual. I'm just saying you in the sort of abstract sense, whoever, hypothetical person, you are not heterosexual. Do I then make a judgment about your character on the basis of that knowledge? I don't. It says nothing about you. I need to know who you are, not what you are. It doesn't tell me anything. And isn't that the better place to be? Isn't that what the whole I have a dream speech was telling us? I mean, replace color of skin with sexual orientation or religion or anything else. Content of character.
So how do you see things developing in the future? For example, are a younger generation bringing with them different sensibilities and beliefs?
What I've learned is that there's still so much I do not know.
Yeah, like other people's personal lives, which you really need to know.
As a gay man.
What is that? What am I supposed to take from that? As a gay man, what?
I know very little about other letters of LGBTQI people's experience.
And it's none of your business. It's got nothing to do with you. Why do you need to know? Get to know people, not orientations. Get to know individuals, not preferences. Come on.
And I know that transgender people definitely still experience much more barriers with their career growth, and younger generations, they have been educated from, school.
Yeah, they have been educated from school, and depending on what school we're talking about, not necessarily for the better.
This really wasn't taught at school.
This really wasn't taught at school. Yeah. What's this? What is this? What is it? No. What should be taught at school?
Everything was binary, and there was only one form of sexuality, and like nothing was ever talked about Just even coming with the awareness and what a pronoun is, as an example.
Oh, what a pronoun. You know, I learned what a pronoun is in English class in first grade. That's what it is. That's all it is.
Makes a big difference.
No, it
We've
doesn't.
run number of LGBTQI foundation training courses, and you see from different generations kind of the response and the background knowledge. But one thing is that anyone who has kind of school age children, they're already being taught this at school.
What is this? What are they being taught in school? And at what ages? Is it grade school children? What are they being taught?
One thing we are learning is that there's a lot of intersectionality.
Jeez. Intersectionality. Oh boy. All right. Tell us all about intersectionality. Tell us about a legal theory derived from critical race theory meant to compound the discriminations that were levied against a client of Kimberly Crenshaw back in the 90s. Or is that not what you mean?
At school. One thing we are learning is that there's a lot of intersectionality. So, out of other 13 affinity groups, there's Asians at, there's women at, there's Latinos at, there's different backgrounds.
Really? They have different backgrounds? You know, I'd wager that if you put all of the Latinos at Amazon into one room, even amongst them, they would have different backgrounds because you're whittling them down to the lowest common denominator of their makeup that says nothing about them. But if you're going to assume a common background on the basis of skin color or gender or anything else, I think the problem might be with you.
So it's really combining our forces, scaling our impacts to create equitable and inclusive space for every Amazonians.
Equitable and inclusive space. We have Latinos at, women at, Black Employee Network, Glamazon. Are you listening to yourself? Are you listening to yourself right now?
The long-term goal really is to truly create a safe space. Not only we celebrate Pride events, but really create safe space for everyone.
Can I have safe space away from your sexual ideology? Can I have a safe space away from having to deal with anybody else's personal lives while I'm at work? I would like a safe, quiet, non-interrupted space at work to do my job and go home again. And your personal life is yours, and mine is mine, and I don't have to disclose to you anything that I don't want to disclose to you that is not work-related, and we can just go about our days. How about that? Can I have that kind of safe space? No, we can't have that kind of safe space. No, it has to be everything, everywhere, all at once. Open, confessing, revealing, sharing. Or then I'm not inclusive? Is that it? My gosh.
One of many affinity groups, Glamazon New Zealand is a space where people like Nick can connect and feel seen.
People like Nick can connect and feel seen. People like Nick. What kind of people is Nick? Again, people like this implies that he is a different species or something. He's a guy who works at a company. That's it. He does a very specific role, he has a very specific job, and he has years of experience in it. People like Nick.
And as we continue to grow an AWS that is compassionate, diverse, and inclusive, affinity groups are massively important.
Why? Why are they massively important? I have waited this entire time. What do they do? Why they're important? And how they improve the company? How? How are they important?
Above all, they make this company a project you want to be part of.
Why? What? Okay, pick a different affinity group. Okay, let's go away from Glamazon for a second. Okay, let's talk about the Black Employees Network. Okay, that was the first one you mentioned. Okay, what do they do? Like, what does that group do? If I were to go to a meeting, even though anybody can join them, but anyway, if I were to go to a meeting, what would I see? What would I hear? What do they produce that is for the good of the company, and so on? Just name some activities, name some actual tangible benefits. Because so far you've talked about a pride store, a pride parade, and some unnamed pride events. And what does any of that do to improve the company outside of simply PR? Why is that important? Is that it? I mean, I have a feeling, and I've talked about this many times in the past, that affinity groups are just there for company PR. They are just there so that you can have your employees volunteer their time to do things outside of the company on an extracurricular basis, wearing the company logo and effectively advertising for the company in their free time, in their real life time, outside of the professional time. That's it. You are a perpetual agent of the company, both in your working life and in your real life. That the definition between professional and personal is obliterated, and professional distance goes out the window. So you're perpetually working for the company's interest. That's all I know that affinity groups actually do, and why they're important, and how they improve the company. That's my theory. Have they done anything to disprove that so far? Nope.
Many marginalized groups, whether it's based on gender, sexual orientation, race, or their disability status.
You haven't mentioned veterans yet. You can get to veterans?
Is that it's not obvious, and it may not be visible.
But you really want to make it visible. You can't feel comfortable in a room unless you know everybody's orientation. You've already told us that bit.
To everyone. And, if you assume that everyone had the same experience as you.
Why would I assume that everyone has the same experience as me? What are you talking about?
And assume and create events or opportunities based on your own experience only.
What if I create events and opportunities based around professional development? Things that are common in the company. The common denominator for employees of the company is the company. Opportunities within the company. Activities having to do with elements of the company. Then I don't have to worry about your personal lives if I completely ignore your personal lives and say, here's some stuff that will help the company or that you might be interested in cross-development of your skills or something. Why not that? Why not just ignore all that stuff because it's irrelevant? What if we went that direction? No. Everybody, you need to know everybody's personal lives. You need to have them made plain and laid bare.
That's going to unintentionally create barriers for some people.
So let's intentionally create barriers for people by splitting everybody up along demographic lines and celebrating some and not others. Okay.
I think biggest thing I've learned throughout my career is that really the importance of culture that grows and celebrates everyone's skills.
You're not talking about skills.
Experience and
You're not talking about experience.
Background.
You don't know anything about somebody. If I put someone in front of you and say, this is a gay man, what do you know about their experience? What do you know about their background? What do you know about their skills? What, I mean, I'm being rhetorical here, but you tell me. I mean, you need to know these surface level attributes of someone's existence And that's supposed to give you what? Some kind of idea about who they are? That tells you something about their character, their ability, their potential? Does it? I mean, if you think it does.
It is fundamental to delivering results. And it's all about mechanisms, right? So good intentions don't work, mechanisms do.
What?
Jeff Bezos said that. And
wait, Jeff Bezos. Sorry, I got to back up a little bit.
And it's all about mechanisms, right? So good intentions don't work, mechanisms do. Jeff Bezos said that. And we have a lot of different mechanisms, and leadership principle is definitely one of them.
Leadership principles have nothing to do with who you like to sleep with.
And I think the best ideas come from seeking diverse perspectives and
you don't care about perspectives. You're not talking about ways of thinking.
try to disprove beliefs, because I think when you have that group thinking, we're getting into day 2 culture. So to keep it day 1, I think it is critical that everyone has a voice, and we have many mechanisms, right?
What? I've run out of words. I have no idea what he's talking about, but he keeps doubling back on himself and contradicting everything he said prior to this. I'm supposed to consider people as either safe or unsafe based on whether or not I know their sexual orientation. Right? That's where our speaker is coming from. He can't feel safe unless he knows what someone's sexual orientation is, because then that tells him, I guess, something about their perspective or his personal safety. And yet, what was it you just said about day 1 mechanisms, seeing people as what now?
I think when you have that group thinking.
Groupthink. Tell me more about groupthink.
We're getting into day 2 culture. So to keep it day 1.
Okay, and this is me talking sincerely. I don't know if this is some kind of corporate phraseology or something. Day 1 culture versus day 2 culture. I don't know what that means, honestly. And I'm not just saying that for the sake of being, sarcastic or sardonic. I don't know. Is that some known thing? Is there a definition for that?
I think it is critical that everyone has a voice, and we have many mechanisms, right? All of these mechanisms really creates advantage for our customers and for our team to deliver.
What does any of that have to do with your orientation? Whether I'm a customer and I know it, or I'm a customer and I don't. What?
And that can only happen with all of diverse experiences and voices.
What?
So, if you're wondering whether there's a space for you to feel validated and heard at AWS,
No. Actually, I'm not wondering that at all. I'm still wondering, what do affinity groups do? Why are they important? And how do they improve the company? That I'm still wondering that. 14 minutes and 24 seconds into this thing, I'm still wondering that. That's what I was promised. I've got no clarification. Nothing that's been mentioned so far about what supposedly the benefits of affinity groups are couldn't as well be accomplished through generic, non-demographic professional development groups and networking in the company, focusing on the company's products, the company's goals and opportunities within the company's various departments, and nothing to do with your personal biological, religious, orientation, makeup. Nothing. You have not sold me on your affinity groups in any way, shape, or form.
there is. Regardless of sexuality, gender, race, disability, or religion.
No, not regardless. Not regardless. This entire thing is to tell us just how much you elevate those elements. There is much regard given to all of those things at AWS. You started out this talk telling us so.
Everyone can make it here.
5 to 10% of people identify as LGBTQI+.
5 to 10% identify as LGBTQIA+. Well, when you have that many various demographics, it actually whittles all of them down very tiny, doesn't it?
That means our membership base also represents that. And we host a lot of different types of events. It could be a morning tea, it could be a casual check-in, or it could be an event that's off-site.
Or maybe it's none of your business.
Could be a movie experience shared, but not so much networking. So regardless of your comfort.
No, not regardless. There is very much regard given to this.
In social interactions or meeting new people. So come and join us. You can join us on our mailing list.
Great. Okay, that's it. And after this was the to find out more about Amazon Web Services, etc. All right. Well, I guess I'm not surprised. You know, you hope for the best, plan for the worst, I guess. Did I expect that Amazon was going to sell me on affinity groups at this late date? Not necessarily, but I wanted to give them a chance. Building internal communities with affinity groups. Sounded more like building self-confidence and self-esteem through identifying and making people identify themselves so I can feel comfortable in a room. That's what I got out of it. But I don't know. What are your thoughts? Let me go to the chat real quick here. Let's see. Advocates Diably, day 2 is a mindset that means stagnation followed by a painful decline and death, according to Bezos, apparently. This is all Bezos, Baseology. Basology. There we go. Basology. Okay. I haven't read from the book of Basology. Let's see. Somnambular Nation. Day 2 is stasis, followed by irrelevance, followed by excruciating, painful decline, followed by death. And that is why it is always day 1. You see what happens when you tie yourself to a single individual, assuming that they have some kind of crazy wisdom, just because they end up being successful in business? Like, I mean, Bezos could have been anybody, right? If the cookie had crumbled a little differently here, there, or otherwise, it might have been somebody else other than Bezos. It might have been some other company than Amazon. Like, Bezos has all the answers. Like, no, he doesn't. But okay. At least I know now where this day 1, day 2 thing, it really does sound like a cult, doesn't it? An Amazon cult. As Bezos doth spake, day 1 culture is the only culture. Day 2 culture is death. Jeez. Let's see. Bishop, communists create these situation comedies for their victims to live in. I tell you, it just again boggles my mind how and even given the platform and even given the stated intent at the top of this little podcast to answer those questions, they couldn't do it. They couldn't do it. And when put to task to tell us what has this guy gotten out of this affinity group, all he talked about was the most generic professional development type things that you could imagine. Nothing you could not have gotten from a focused professional development network within the company. You know, have a leadership network, have an engineering network, have a development network, you know, split up the various specialties and mechanisms within your company into professional development networks that anybody can join. Anybody, doesn't matter, as long as you're an employee of the company, that's the only price of admission, and you get the exact same thing out of it. Now, I'll tell you what, they probably have better results out of it for the company overall, but that's not the goal. The goal here is to take your personal life and integrate it into your professional life to make sure you are never off the clock. When you're out there doing volunteer work on behalf of the company or connected to the company, you got that logo t-shirt on. You make sure everybody knows Amazon's everywhere at all times in all communities for everybody. You're just a billboard. They're turning their employees into billboards, which isn't a new idea, but they're trying to say that this is somehow going to benefit. This is for their benefit, the community's benefit. And you have people like our speaker convincing themselves that what they could be doing in their own personal time, unassociated with the company, is somehow made better because they're attached to a corporation? I don't know. Seems a little creepy to me. Mike Savage, day one means repeating a single day over and over and not developing. It's just like, we must maintain that day one thing. Like, you mean the day one where I come in and I still don't know what I'm doing or how to do anything? Yeah, it's Groundhog Day. Got to make Groundhog Day Amazon Day, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, that's the show, everybody. I'm going to call it here. A couple of programming notes. First and foremost, I have a Discord. Or I should say the channel has a Discord, because it really is about the community, not just about me. And so there's a link in the chat for the Discord right now. Take a look at that. If you click on that, you'll find yourself on the landing channel called Say Hello. And in addition to saying hello, you just have to give the secret word. The secret word will tell me and my moderators that you actually watch the show and have thus earned the right to become a member of the Discord. And today's secret word is... let's see. Affinity's too easy. How about Glamazon? There you go. Glamazon is the secret word. I know, a little controversial, but there you go. Also, and I totally forgot to do this at the top of the show, which is my fault, my bad, nobody else's fault. I forgot to pin the fundraisers up to the top of the chat box, or even remember to put them up there. I've done it pretty good the last couple of times, but this time I slipped. So if you take a look at the top of the chat box, if you have the opportunity, got some fundraisers there for a few people. First and foremost, we have Maddie, who is a fellow YouTuber. She's recently been diagnosed with cancer and needs some help paying for some cancer treatment deductibles. She's got shots of the receipts on the GoFundMe to show that this is what she needs and just what she needs and nothing more. Also on there is a fundraiser for Morbid Curiosity. Morbid Curiosity is a true crime content creator on YouTube. He's recently been diagnosed with pneumonia and does not have any medical insurance to help with that. And he's in a bad way. Last I checked, he's still hanging in there, but you know, it is what it is. Take a look at that, please, if you can donate. And as well, have one up there for Angry Illinoisian. Angry Illinoisian got injured on the job, is on workers' comp right now, and his family could use some help with their bills and such. If you can donate, please do so. If you can't, that's fine. But if you can, share those out on social media. That would be appreciated. In addition to that, also tonight at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern will be the last episode of Book Review of the Vampire insofar as the Vampire Lestat is concerned. Yes, we are finishing off the Vampire Lestat, and the last episode in that particular, I guess, season of the series will come to a close. So join me and Leonora for that at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And then at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, I'll be over on the Midnight's Edge After Dark channel doing a countdown of the worst Hollywood decisions / disasters on record. So like movies that were poorly chosen to develop, or projects that went sideways or whatever. It'll be fun sort of snarking over that over on Midnight's Edge After Dark, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. But all that aside, everyone, thank you so much for joining me this morning, this Sunday morning. If I missed a comment in the chat, please leave it down below afterwards. I'd appreciate it. Also, on the way out, if you could leave a like, I'd appreciate that as well. Supposedly that helps with the algorithm. Beyond that, moderators, thank you for keeping an eye on things. Even though everyone here is so well behaved, you have very little to do. Everybody who donated either to myself, or if you have the opportunity, to the fundraisers at the top of the chat box, thank you guys so much for your generosity. Really do appreciate it. Hope you all have a good rest of your Sunday. Hope you have a good week ahead of you. Hope you are all safe and well. If you are not well, please get well soon, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.